Hello and welcome to another edition of Santos on Sports, along with my good friend Chris Santos. I am Paul Santos. Oh boy, we are jam-packed tonight. We got so much to talk about, and we'll start in just a moment. But first, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Scotty's Pub, 202 Pleasant Street in Fall River, Citywide Glass with 3 locations in Dartmouth, Fall River, and Taunton, Lakeville Athletic Club, 325 Bedford Street in Lakeville, and attorney John Seed, 156th 8th Street in New Bedford. Hey, a big win for the Patriots there, Mr. Chris.
Well, boy, I wish it was like number 5 right now, but it's only number 2. I was hoping for a little bit more, but I'll take what I can get. Hopefully it leads to a little momentum and gets them ready for Tennessee this week, who actually has a worse record than the Patriots at 1-6. Maybe that shows me a little life and a little spirit to say maybe the Patriots can win their 3rd game of the season.
Well, for those of you who may not remember, Chris Santos has a bet that the Patriots will win at least 5 games this year, at least 5 games. And of course, after they won that first one, it looked like they're on their way, and it's been ugly ever since. But last week, and this is the question of the day, last week, Jerod Mayo called out his own team, called his own team soft, which I was really surprised that he would do that publicly. Apparently, he did it privately before that, which is good. But he went out there publicly in front of the media and called his own team soft. And I have to say, Chris, I thought originally it was a bad idea. I didn't like it. But then after I started to think about it, I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe those guys will get pissed off. Maybe like, oh, yeah, you think we're soft? We'll show you who's soft. You know, that's one way. The other way, they could have quit, I guess. But I think the pride of being a professional athlete was such that, okay, you're saying we're soft? No. You're standing on the sideline. We're in there with our blood, sweat, and tears and our guts out there. I'm a professional athlete. I'm not soft. I'm going to go out and show you in the next game against one of the great quarterbacks of all time, Aaron Rodgers. And they did it. So maybe there was some kind of psychology there that turned out to be successful.
I don't like it, Paul. I don't like it socially. I like it in-house. If you want to talk in-house and say, fellas, we're playing soft, we're better than this, then okay, I'm with it. But to bring it out in the media, I don't like it. I think it's one of the most disrespectful things you can tell a professional football player, that you're soft. I don't care for it. If it's in-house, maybe that's a little bit different. At the same time, what does that say to Mayo and his coaching staff? Then you're not doing a good job coaching. Then you're not coaching your players up to be a better player. You're teaching them to be soft because you're the one who's supposed to be motivating them and getting them ready for every Sunday. So I didn't like it socially. I don't mind it in-house and say, hey, fellas, we're better than this. We're playing soft right now. We need to be a little bit more physical. I'll get that. But to call out on a public stage, personally, I don't care for it. I don't know how you feel about that. I don't like it. That would really bother me as a professional athlete and say, what do you mean you're talking about? I'm playing soft. I'm busting my ass every week out here, every practice, doing what I need to do, and listening to what you say. And now you're telling me I'm soft. So, yeah, that's a tough one. And I wasn't too thrilled about it when I heard it. At the same time, I get the motivation, but do the motivation in-house and don't let the media get involved, because you know what the media is going to do. They're going to tear this up, and they've been doing it ever since.
Well, what you said is what I thought originally. I thought exactly what you said.
Yeah.
That, this is not good, that maybe there's going to be dissension in the ranks. Who the hell does this guy think he is, calling me soft and all this stuff like that? And then I started to think about it after, and I was thinking, gee, it's some kind of a reverse way. Maybe it pissed them off in a way, you know what I mean? Even though they didn't like it. And then I found out after too, I don't know if this makes a difference, Chris, or not, but I found out after that he said it in the locker room first. He said, you guys are all soft, blah, blah, blah. He said it first in the locker room. So then when he went out and said it publicly, he had already said it in the locker room. So they didn't hear it for the first time. So maybe it wasn't quite as bad. But I got to tell you, I don't know if you think it had anything to do with the response. Do you think it lit a fire under them in some kind of a way, or do you think it's just a coincidence that they happen to perform so well?
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's performing so well. I didn't think the Jets played so great, but at the same time, it was a little bit of both. Remember, Paul, is this the same defense, or has there been a lot of changes? The same defense that Bill Belichick had And they were a pretty good defense. This is, I understand Peppers is gone, but the rest of them were pretty much, a lot of similarities of the same guys that Bill had, and they weren't a bad defense.
Well,
So to
a
sit
lot
back
of them were there, but Bill commented about, we had a top defense last year, kind of
Yeah.
giving a zinger to the Patriots.
I
But there are a lot of
agree.
guys who aren't there too. There are a lot of guys that aren't there too.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a combination of both there, but I didn't mind the in-house. I just don't think you call it out in front of the media because obviously they're going to carry that way over the top and they're just going to look for players and say, okay, I want to talk to Gonzalez. I want to talk to this guy. I want to talk to that guy. And they want to find out, what they thought about what's being soft. And to me, that's not the unity that the coaching and the team should be looking for. You want to say it in, hey, we got to play better. I get that. I get the hype and the momentum, but I just don't like it in the public eye. I just don't.
Well, all I know is we got a W in the win column, so
Yep.
hopefully it made some kind of an effect. I'm not too sure. But I got to tell you, down there in New York, the Yankees are losing. The New York Giants are losing. The New York Jets are losing. And just to shift to baseball for a second, Chris, how about the audacity of what happened in the stands at Yankee Stadium? Let's go to our first caller, Nelson from Fall River. Good evening.
Hey, Nelson.
Volpe finds redemption.
All right, Nelson, before you start, Nelson, I got to ask you a question. I've never met you. I don't know you. I don't know what you look like. But if that was you trying to take the ball out of Mookie Betts' glove with your buddy, we got a lot to talk about right now. Because you're banned from Game 5. You should be banned for the rest of the Yankees should take your tickets away. What are you thinking out there? What's going on here?
I think that was him. I think that was Nelson.
You think that was Nelson that did that?
Listen.
Was that you, Nelson?
They all right, from what I know, some information came out about that. They're not allowed tonight.
No.
But they're not allowed tonight, but they're gonna see because they're season ticket holders. So they're gonna see about the next game if they go back to LA, which I think is a high possibility going back to LA.
Okay.
But look, Mookie Betts, he didn't have no problem with it. Yeah, he was a little upset, but he got over it. Fans are just being fans. They love the game. It's not like what happened at Chicago Cubs when that fan robbed that ball. I mean, he had a really bad treatment before the Cubs.
No, but wait a minute. The Yankee fan was trying to rip it right out of his glove.
Yeah, I know. But
the other guy was holding his hand.
I think it was already in the stands. But then again, it looked like Mookie had a play on it. But nonetheless, that don't matter. What does matter is that they won. And tonight, I don't know. I think the LA Dodgers just might hitch a flight back to LA without that trophy. It smells.
Listen, I have Dodgers.
Like
I do. Nelson, I agree with you. I think they lose. They go home and they win it in 6, 4-2 Dodgers. That being said, though, you just keep the Yankees hanging around and you get, murderer's row between Soto, Judge, and Stanton. And all of a sudden they show up for maybe 2 or 3 games. Look out. I agree with you. But I think the Dodgers will be able to make it home, go 4-2. I thought what they did with Betts. And it's amazing, Paul, because we've seen this before in Yankee Stadium. How many times in that bean box, that little bandbox of a stadium, have we seen many balls just make it right over the wall and fan interference all over the place? I can think of like 4 or 5 of them. It's incredible that it continues to keep happening, and it happened in this series too.
How about sometimes, they hit a home run and then the announcers will say, that's a home run in 25 out of the 30 parks. It's not a home run. I mean, it's not a home run.
I will say this. This series should be tied. The Yankees should have won game 1. Boone should have left. Garrett Cole, keep on dealing.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? It should. Nonetheless, it's not tied. But it's how the Yankees won last night. Mm-hmm. The bats woke up, and that's how they made it this far. They don't chase pitches, and they hit the ball where it needs to be hit. They score the runs, and they pitch well. If
So
tonight,
you disapprove of Game 1, bringing in Nelson Cortez to face Freddie
Yes.
Freeman, a lefty against lefty.
Well, listen. This guy has not pitched in over 30-something days.
That's
You don't
correct.
put him in that position. You put him in earlier in the game if your starter's not doing well, but you don't put him in at that moment. You let Weaver keep on dealing, and then you win that game. But if they win tonight with that passion, just like last night, this series already changed because Roberts, he's a smart guy, but he put the brakes a little bit. I think he should have went with the relievers he wanted to go through and not just let it go out like that. But tonight, I'm telling you.
Well, let me just say, right?
Let's go back to LA. Let's go back to LA.
Look, out of all the 7-game series in the history of baseball, I mean, has anybody ever blown a 3 games to none lead before? I mean, I can't remember. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. It did happen one time.
I know you're going there, and I have the perfect response for you.
He's got a perfect response for you, Paul.
Okay, what's the response?
If the Yankees conquered this in the World Series, this story would be better than the 04 story. So if they make history, even on the possibility of making history, this will be better history.
Why? Because it's the World Series, right?
Exactly. Don't let us win tonight. That's
don't let us win tonight. All right, he's quoting a great Red Sox player.
It's a great rivalry. Yeah, it's a great rivalry.
I want to answer this question.
Yep.
Was it bad for the head coach to, say that?
Yes.
The fact is, he said it in the locker room first, and then he went public. So nothing was done out of surprise.
I agree.
To me, I look at it as constructive criticism, only to motivate them, and it got them the W. Because it's all about respect. If you're playing soft, your opponent, they're not going to respect you, and they're going to think that they can do whatever they want. And this is football. Football is a very rough game. So it's all about earning that respect from your opponent to take you seriously. So
you agree with Mayo calling it out in the media as well as in-house?
Exactly. But he did do it in-house first.
I know.
Then he went to the media. So nothing was done, like I said, out of surprise. But
right now, listen.
W.
You're not leaving yet because your Jets and Giants are doing nothing right now. I know my Cowboys are not doing well, but your Jets and Giants
please
are struggling.
don't stick up the place. Don't stick up the place with the Cowboys, please.
All right. Well, wait a minute. Now wait a minute.
Let's go Jets and Giants.
Jets and Giants. What's going on with the Jets and Giants?
Struggling.
They suck.
Listen, I don't know what the hell's going on. I mean, Rodgers, he needs to go. The Jets need to move forward. You need something new. But like I said, it's not about the Jets or the Giants. It's about the Yankees. New Yorkers have something to celebrate, and I'm waiting for it tonight. I hope they succeed. But I'm telling you, don't let us win tonight.
Don't let us win tonight. There he is he's quoting a Red Sox player.
Listen, Paul. Right now, we have no idea if Nelson is really in Fall River. He could be in New York kidnapping Freddie Freeman right now.
I was at the bar.
Making sure Freddie's not there.
I was up in there in the Bronx. Of course I was.
Could be looking for Freddie Freeman right now and saying, Freddie, you ain't making this game 5 right now. And maybe Nelson's got him captive in his hotel or something. I don't know. Be careful.
All right, we'll see what happens. Hey, Nelson, thanks a lot for a great call as usual.
Good luck, Nelson. Good luck.
All right, let's go to Butch in Acushnet. Good evening.
Zach Nelson. Are you kidding me? Can he come up with something original? Don't let us win tonight.
Hey, that's a quarter Red Sox player.
He's got to say something.
And then, you know what I was really hoping for? I was hoping for a Subway Series between the Mets and the Yankees. They wouldn't have been able to change hats.
Yeah, right. Well, it was interesting because I kind of was thinking about that, but then I thought, geez, Ohtani and Judge and, all the big MVPs and everything. So I thought that would be interesting too.
Yeah, well, I, I mean, I don't think the Yankees are that bad where they're going to get swept, and they didn't. I would have liked to seen it, but I thought it was unlikely. I do agree with Chris. I don't like the characterization that they're murderers row, but they do have some talent. And the folks sitting behind Judge and in front of Judge were really tearing it up. Soto and Stanton.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can they keep it up? I don't know. It could. I'd like to see a more. I'd like to see the Yankees done and out, but I would like to see a competitive World Series as well.
Hey, Butch, I don't mean to change subjects, but I'm going to change subjects because you've been an athlete. You've played with me on teams. We've done a lot of things together. My question to you is, if we took this in-house and you talked to me and I talked to you and we said it and we got it done, great. But if I went above your head or you went above my head and you went to the media and you called us out, I called you out, you called me out, would you agree with me that you will not be happy with what that situation is? Like Mayo calling his players out soft in the public, in the media eye.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I personally am not soft. You know me.
I know that.
So to be grouped in with people who might be soft in public would have irritated the hell out of me.
Yeah. So if your coach, let's say on a softball team, talk to you and say, hey, guys, we're playing soft. We got to play better. But the next thing you know, he goes to the papers and says, we're not winning because my team is soft. That would irritate me. I know it would irritate you.
Would it make you play better or not really?
It's hard to say. I gave 100% like Chris all the time anyway. So it may have given me more desire. I might have been angry, and I might have, had put more pressure on my teammates. And Chris will tell you, we knew who was soft and who wasn't, and we may even have agreed with the coach. Well, I'm not sure. Going public with it is the best idea.
Well, what about the fact that he said it in the locker room first before he came out? Does that make it any better?
It does. I think it mitigates some of it. It does. Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It didn't take the total sting away from it. But he told them to their face first. So, I mean, it does mitigate some of it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Drake May looks really good out there. It's unfortunate that he got that concussion protocol thing going. But I got to tell you, when he's out there, I think he looks comfortable. I think he could be, I don't know, he could be the real deal. I know it's early to talk about that, but I don't know. I like what I see so far.
There's another thing, Paul.
I don't think we can make the, I don't think we should say or make a statement that he's the real deal. There's just not enough evidence to prove that.
Right.
Can we be happy with what we've seen so far? I know I am.
Yeah, I am too.
And the funny part is now, remember now, Brissett came in and ended up winning the game. And there was talk about, well, if May's ready to go, do we leave him out because Brissett looked good? Do we put Brissett back in? I thought that was a topic of conversation. I don't think so personally. I think you stick with May. You keep the young guy in there. He's done a great job. He's leading the way. I know Brissett finished it off, but I still stick with May.
All right, Butch, thank you very much for calling. We appreciate it.
All right, Paul. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, thank you very much. All right, 774-218-3393. Ben is in Dartmouth. Good evening. Ben, hello.
Ben there? Nope,
Let's see if we get Ben. Let's see if we can go to Ben.
Maybe we'll have to get him back.
Ben, are you there?
Hey, Ben.
Oh, we lost Ben. Okay, give us a call back, 774-218-3393. I was going to ask you, Chris, it seemed like when Brissett went back in there,
Yep.
that the play calling was more aggressive, like it had been when May was in there. They started throwing the ball a little bit more. You know what I mean? It seemed like sometimes they get a little too conservative up until
No, I
now.
don't think so. I think it was
No?
the same thing but Brissett took better chances in better situations, and he was able to be more aggressive than what he's done in the past. And he's sitting there saying, well, now I'm fighting for my job. I got to get downfield, and I want to get back in this ball game. So I'm going to do more things, and I'm going to throw in areas that I haven't thrown into when I was starting. So I think it was a little bit more desperation on his part to say, hey, you know what? I'm not that bad, and I'm going to take my chances because here's my shot right now.
All right, 774-218-3393 if you'd like to join the discussion here on Santos on Sports. Okay, let's see. Let's go to Ben in Dartmouth. Good evening, Ben.
Good evening, Paul. Chris, how you guys doing tonight?
Hi,
Good.
Ben,
How are you
doing, buddy?
Great. So first things first, I just want to say I want to get something out of the way before I go and pursue more. Jacoby Brissett and his receivers were god awful the other day. Yet they beat the New York Jets. They obliterated the New York Jets defense, supposedly the top 10 defense in the NFL, which is pretty impressive when you look at it from a coaching standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
The way that the Patriots have been looking so far this year, Alex Van Pelt, questionable play calls, I'd say. After when they threw that long ball on first, third down and long, and then they went for a run on first down and goal, I'm like, what the heck? I mean, either you're going to do a screen pass or you're going to do a slant. So that was just a questionable call. One thing I can just say is when you're a head coach, it's tough when you're a rookie head coach and you got to look at the standpoint. You're just new to the game. So I know Howie just said like the Patriots were a soft team, but he's still learning about the team. The rebuild's not going to take.
All right, should he have said that, Ben?
year.
Do you think he should have said that publicly like that?
Not to criticize the team in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
No, I just felt like if you are a coach, just keep your opinions to yourself. I mean, we can tell like they're a soft football team, but like just keep your opinions to yourself. As a coach, you're not supposed to express your emotions about a loss and whatnot, but like you gotta leave it out on the field, in the practice field, and talk to your team about it. I mean, if you're gonna call your team soft, then fix it. I mean,
well, that's what Chris was saying. I think Chris agrees with you.
No, I agree with that. That Ben is saying that if Mayo's going to call them soft, well, then you got to talk to your coaching staff and say, well, what the heck have we been doing with our team? We got to toughen them up because they shouldn't be soft. So, yeah, you're going to call out your players, and you better call out your coaching staffs because you're the head coach, and we got to get these guys more physical and more aggressive. Now, he can sit back and say, well, we've been doing that, but they're going out there and they're not executing the way we think, and they're playing soft. Oh, well, that's a little different. So now you're calling out specifically just the players. And I just don't think that's right. I just think it should be in-house, and Ben agrees with that. So I'm with Ben. I think it should just be in-house and leave the media out of it.
Sure.
All right, Ben. Well, thank you very much for calling. We appreciate it as usual.
All right, Paul. See you Friday.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. See you.
Okay. Ryan is in Rochester. Hello.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hey, what's going
Hey,
on?
Rhino, how you doing, pal?
I'm doing fantastic. Listen, I was as much as I was rooting for that tank for the number one pick. I gotta say, being in the building on that Sunday,
Yeah.
completely different feeling. And listen, even though it's two kind of dog water teams going at it, I'll take that. That's my first ever game-winning drive that I witnessed live. So
I gotta tell you, I'm jealous because my losing streak just goes on and on and on. I went to the Bruins game last night. They look like absolute crap, except that I enjoyed being with my grandkids and family. But as far as the Bruins, we were there all night, never saw a goal, And then they're out there with this that was a great game, and it was a nice day, nice fall day. I was really happy that you were there.
Tell us about the atmosphere, Ryan. How was it out there? Is people like, really excited about the game, or it's just like, well, okay, they're one 1-5 or 1-6 at this time. You know, where they stand, and how's it look out there with the New England Patriot fans?
Oh, the energy was there 100%. Like, you know, every third down when we were on defense, with Jets were on offense, guys were standing up, yelling. You know, I actually had a Jets fan behind me who was nice enough to take our picture. I'm a classy rival, so I tend to try to get along with everybody.
Yes.
But the energy was absolutely in the building. There was no question about that, especially on that drive.
Paul,
it was an exciting game.
It was probably Nelson. It was probably Nelson in the jet, taking pictures, and he didn't want to tell Ryan who he was, but it was probably Nelson. Who knows?
Hey, you never know.
You never know exactly.
It was my mom's very first time going to a game too. So of course now she's like, when's the next one?
Yeah, right.
Awesome.
See, that's great. I'm glad you had a great time. That was a great game. I was watching it on every down. I'm thinking, wow, this is great. And then I knew you were there. I'm like, wow, Ryan's actually bringing us some luck. You better go to all the games the rest of the season.
Oh, hey, listen, if you can pay, anyone can pay me to go. I'll go to every single one if you pay me.
Hey, Ryan, what do you think? What do you think about tonight's question, Ryan? Mayo calling his players soft. Now, I know you coach football. I know you've been around it. I know you've heard head coaches, assistant coaches talk. Like I said, I don't mind in-house. I get it. We talk in a locker room. We get the guys pumped up. But to me, to go to the papers, to go to the media, to go out there and, you want to jumpstart, I get it. But I just don't see it in professional sports to call it out like that. What do you think?
I can agree with that. That I feel like that's kind of that thing that you want to keep in house.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to, say something along those lines, like, like we're playing, like keep it at like we're playing like a soft football team, but I know that we're not a soft football. Like, don't just come out and say like, we're a soft football team across the board. Keep that sort of in house. Now, kind of build on a point to what you were saying before. How that you could get some reaction of the guys like, like, what are you talking about? You're just on the sideline. We're the ones that actually out here busting our asses. I will say Jerod does kind of have not necessarily kind of has the advantage in the fact that he, like, more recently than not, he's actually played. He was in there. He's been in these guys' shoes. Right. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that he didn't doing like a fantastic job or anything. I've had my fair criticisms of him too. But I'd say it's one of those things where it's gonna take a little bit of time. And I'll admit I was scared that he was gonna lose the locker room, especially after that, especially looking like they kind of quit in that Jacksonville game when they just got ran over. But clearly it somewhat resonated well because the energy in the game, not only when Drake was in there, but when they kind of rallied around Jacoby, it was higher than I've seen since Cincinnati, honestly.
I'm sorry to bring this up, but I'm looking at the predictions at the beginning of the year here.
Yep.
Chris, that Ryan had the Patriots going 2-15. That means they'd have to lose every game from now for the whole rest of the season.
He did.
For that one to come out. Now you're not rooting for that.
Listen, I don't think it's going to quite get that far, unfortunately.
Whoa. Now listen. I was listening to Ryan on his texts over the week saying,
yes,
God, I can't believe the Patriots won because Tennessee, we could get the number 1 pick. So I know Ryan's still looking for that number 1 selection for next year. That's how far advanced he's thinking. But it is what it is. And again, I'm open for 5. I think they got a good matchup this week with Tennessee. I'm hoping that goes to number 3. But Ryan, you were there live, okay? You got Devontae Adams, you got Garrett Wilson, you got Breece Hall, you got Aaron Rodgers. These are some good weapons. This is not, what do you think of the Jets? I thought Aaron Rodgers, no offense, I think he's lost the step. He just does not look like the Aaron Rodgers of old.
100%. The Aaron Rodgers of old would have put 30 points on this team, and I think so too. I agree with you. I think it's just the Jets being cursed overall in general because Gonzalez was like locking down whoever he was on. He was locking down Devontae Adams the whole day. Yep. I'll give Garrett Wilson some credit. He made some plays here and there. Like a beautiful kind of like stop and go where Rodgers just kind of floated it up to him. So he was their best receiver all day. But I just don't understand. Like with all the acquisitions that they made on the offensive line, they still can't run block. They still can't pass protect on a consistent basis. I think it's just the fact that they just suck at finding offensive line coaches. Because you look at it, you got Tyron Smith, who's been a perennial Pro Bowler for years now. John Simpson's been the best offensive lineman by far this season. Joe Tippmann was a second-round pick last year, and they lost the right guard, Elijah Barrett-Tucker, so you kind of had the flip-flop there. But Morgan Moses is a good right tackle, so they got horses up front, but they can't run block. They can't open up holes on a consistent basis for a guy as explosive as Breece Hall. And I 100% agree. I think, one, he's lost mobility because of that Achilles injury, and two, he's just not that I thought he was as passionate as Tom Brady when it comes to the little things, the preparation and all that, but he's lost it, man. He's lost it. He's cooked, I think.
Yeah, and I think their coaching staff kind of called him out too and said, it wasn't Rodgers' best performance. He needs to be better. And I agree. And I think they got two great running backs. They got a solid tight end in Conklin. They got two good wide receivers. I think this offense should be a lot better. So I'm putting on all the shoulders of number 8 in Aaron Rodgers. I think he's just not even close to being what he was when he was with Green Bay. I agree with you.
Now, Ryan, I wanted to get your thoughts on the World Series in general. So your general thoughts on the World Series. But how about the audacity of that Yankee fan thinking that he could reach into the field of play, not just reach into the field of play, but actually reach into the glove of an opposing player and wrestle the ball out of the glove of Mookie Betts? I mean, in Boston, we never do anything like that.
I mean, listen, I'll admit that I was still at work at the time that happened, so I kind of missed it. I read about it after the fact, but it's the second time that you've had fan interference of that nature. And it's like, do we not learn from the first time? Not only does it makes you look like a freaking moron, but it could possibly cost home runs, because you never know. Truly, you could make a prediction that probably would have gone over, or that would have just hit the wall, would have been a ground rule double. But you never know. Just let the ball go before you start going at it.
There's been a couple of situations with the New York Yankees, and I always say that ballpark there. I can remember the Orioles being one. I can remember a couple of other situations, but it always seems to happen in big situations, big games. I know the Cubs had their history with the Steve Bartman situation, but even the Yankees have come up with a couple of them. Now, Major League Baseball came out at the beginning and said, we're not doing anything with these guys. They're okay with Game 5. Then an hour later, it changed and said, we're banning them from Game 5. So I think when it first came out, Major League Baseball took some heat, and they changed their decision because they went from one extreme to the other extreme, which I think they made the right call.
So just throwing him out of that game, you don't think that was enough?
No, I don't. I think they should be banned from anything that's played at Yankee Stadium for the rest of the World Series. So if this is the last one, then they should miss this one as well. Absolutely. All
right, so it's been an interesting series. It's been a good playoffs, I have to say. Don't you think so, Ryan? I mean, there's been a lot of exciting games. There's been walk-off home runs. I mean, that series with Cleveland was great. People seem to think that the Yankees pitching was going to be superior to the Dodgers going into the World Series, but it hasn't worked out that way. But in general, I think baseball came a little bit more alive in these playoffs this year.
100%, yeah. Like you mentioned, there's been great games. This game one of the World Series was the going all the way back to the playoffs. We had two teams that had a lot of edge. With the Dodgers and the Padres, they've had edge for years now, just because of the guys that they have on this. The Cleveland series was really good. I will say, results wise, I'm a bit disappointed in this World Series. And here's why. This is the matchup that I wanted. But because, you got the two best rosters in all of baseball, with Ohtani going up against Judge, and, Max Muncy, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts going up against the Giancarlo Stantons and the, Gleyber Torres, Juan Soto, guys like that. This is a series that I want to see go to Game 7. this is not a series that I expected, like, one team or the other to be up, 3-0. And
Right.
it's just, it's kind of, riddled by bad decisions by managers. Obviously what the series showed me, but at least the first 3 games, is that, the bullpen for, the Dodgers, we already knew they had one of the best bullpens in all of baseball, but it's far superior to what the Yankees have put forward. So my hope is that, at the very least, it goes 6. I feel like Garrett Cole's going to have to go at least 7 innings, because I don't want it to, because you, as a Yankees fan, you shouldn't want them to turn it over to the bullpen that quickly. I'm still hoping for 7, because I'm 100% getting this DVD set at some point. So I want 7.
And it's unfortunate too that Aaron Judge is in that slump, because you wait all year to see the matchup and things like that, and you said, hey, players can go into slumps, but go into a slump at this particular time, it kind of takes the edge off of the excitement a little bit, I think.
Yeah, and it's over simple stuff too. Like I don't know if you saw this in the post game. I can't remember if it was Jeter or I think it was down. You look at it like the difference between how he was swinging in the championship series when he finally blasted one, and how he's swinging in the World Series now. It's almost like he's got like a little hitch in his hips when he's doing a swing. So he's almost like hesitating a little bit. Like, buddy, this is the World Series. You got to let that thing go.
Where's your paper, Paul, that says it factor? Go ahead.
Right here, baby. I got it right here.
It is. Where's the it factor from Aaron Judge right now? I'll tell you, you came into this series, Ryan, and we talked about this prior to this show. We said we wanted to see what it was between Ohtani and Judge, and that's what I think the public wanted to see. Judge has not done it, and nothing against Ohtani. He's been a little banged up, and I think he's playing probably with a separated shoulder. So even he's been kind of, non-existent. And right now it's been the other guys. It's Freeman, it's Betts, it's Stanton, it's Soto, and it's the other guys. And I know everybody wants to see the 2 best between Ohtani and Judge. It's not right there right now. So that kind of criticizes and just kind of downplays the World Series. Now, again, it's not over yet, but still, those are 2 key factors that I thought would really play. And, me and Paul have been texting back and forth, and he's been saying, where's the it factor? And Judge right now has not shown it in big games in the World Series.
Aaron Judge is the baseball version of Tatum. Just kind of like. I'm sorry.
I told you that was coming up.
All right. Hey, Ryan.
That one, Ryan.
Thank you very much for the call. Always good to hear from you.
No problem. Thanks for having me on again, guys.
All right. 774-218-3393. If anyone has a comment about the question of the day about Jerod Mayo calling out his team and calling his team soft, we got the World Series on deck. And I did mention, too, the Celtics. Boy, they are looking like they are on fire so far. And it's 7 players deep. How about Pritchard? You and I have always been big Pritchard fans. I love the way he plays. I love how hard he plays. He makes up for his disadvantage in height as best he possibly can. He gets rebounds. And then when he gets hot from the outside, I mean, they're talking about 6th player of the year. It's only the beginning of the season, but I really, really find him entertaining.
Oh, to watch him shoot another half-court shot.
Yeah.
Before that halftime, he made another one the other night. And I don't know what teams are thinking, saying, listen, we got to stop this guy. We can't let that happen. But, Paul, listen, this is 7 to 8 guys deep, as you said, and Porzingis is not even playing.
Not even there.
And I'm like, I'm kind of in shock. Now, I know they've played 4 games. The ball spread, the ball movement, the people scoring, 4 or 5 guys in double digits like every night. Now, on the road at Indiana tonight, I think they'll have a difficult game. I think Indiana will play well. They'll be up for this one. Orlando, another good team, very athletic. I think we'll play the Celtics toughest too. But Philadelphia, the Knicks, Milwaukee, they've been all over them right now. I think they will continue with that. This team is exciting. You can't wait for them to come on. It's just enjoyable to watch, and how they spread the ball around and the points around. It's been outstanding so far.
This just reminds me, we forgot to talk to Nelson about the Knicks. I mean, we got the Knicks went down, the Jets went down, the Giants went down, the Mets went down, the Yankees went down. I mean, and New York has 2 teams for every sport.
Listen, I didn't want to beat him up any more than what he was. So I just kind of, for all I know, he's right now he's He's got the handcuffs on Freddie Freeman behind a chair in the hotel room. I mean, I don't know what he's got going on right now. He's probably got an earplug in there talking to Aaron Boone saying, don't do this, don't do that. I don't know. So maybe he's talking to those two fans who try to rip the ball out of Mookie Betts and having a couple of cocktails with them saying, go in there and do it again. Find a way to get in the game. So he's got a lot going on. But listen, it's tremendous. It's great for the game. Major League Baseball has had a good playoffs, in my opinion.
Yes.
I think it's been great. If it goes 6 games, even better if the Yankees win tonight and go back to L.A., that's awesome. Celtics doing what they're doing. Obviously, the Patriots. You got the Bruins. We talked, Paul, earlier about the Bruins. I know you went last night. Had some good road wins, a tough home loss. The production right now on the scoring, the differential between giving up and scoring has been not in their favor. And I think they're last in the Atlantic in that. So that really has hurt them. They're not scoring enough goals and they're giving up too many. So do you blame the offense for not scoring? Do you blame the defense for giving up? Or is it a little bit of both? That's very critical. You were there last night. What did you see from them?
I don't know. They seemed like a lethargic team. It seemed like they were lacking in energy a little bit. We're talking about Jerod Mayo calling his team soft. I don't know if Montgomery is really, being effective this year so far. I know he's had some good regular seasons, playoffs. He run into Florida, one of the best teams, if not the best team in the league. So you almost can't blame him for that. But, I'm watching the game. They had a 5-on-3 for like almost a minute 40. A minute 40 of a 5-on-3, and they just kept passing the ball around the perimeter. Couldn't get anything going. They had a number of power plays. Couldn't get anything going. Even in the third period, they're behind 1-0. They fell behind 1-0. I'm thinking, okay, we're going to throw all the guns blazing in the third period. Really felt like they couldn't get anything going. And actually, the backup goaltender played pretty well for the Bruins, so it didn't have anything to do with that. Mm-hmm. And, they pulled the goalie, and they ended up losing the game with the empty net goal. So I don't know, very, very lethargic, I thought, lacking in energy. That's just the feeling I had. And the building was kind of, the fans were like waiting for something to happen that never happened.
What'd you think of Montgomery calling out Marchand last week? Was not happy with him with his turnover, which led to a goal. And he was pretty abrupt and really pointing fingers and really going after him. What were your thoughts on that when they were on the road?
Yeah, he grabbed him by the jersey and everything. And I know the media really made a big case out of it. I don't know. I mean, it is hockey. Hockey is a little bit more of a physical sport, an emotional sport. I mean, I don't think it was that big a deal. I mean, I think that Montgomery is really trying to try to jar something loose, light a candle, light a fire under this team. I mean, it's a little early. I remember we talked the last time that we did the podcast here, and I seem to be a little more worried than you. You seem to think that things are going to come together. Am I getting a little worried too early? Because, you got to be a little over 500 by Thanksgiving, they say. And if you fall too far behind, it's really hard with the 3-point games to catch up. So I don't want to see them falling behind.
I agree. I thought they'd be, maybe a little bit higher than what they are right now. But at the same time, with Lindholm coming in, a couple of new pieces, getting Swayman back, Korpisalo getting his feet wet as the backup, a couple of new faces up front, trying to find the right combinations in line, trying to move the pieces of the puzzle. A little bit more higher than what I expected them to be right now. So, hopefully they start to gel again, get some momentum, get back to playing Bruins physical hockey, creating the turnovers, and getting some chances. But I think they need, Paul, that more scoring depth than Pastrnak. Everything seems to fall around number 88.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I think he's doing a great job. I need to see others. I need to see more people scoring than number 88. You just can't look for one or two guys. There's got to be more production out of that lineup. So they got to get Zacha going. They got to get Brazo going. They got to get more Lindholm, more guys involved besides number 88. So hopefully they'll turn it around and get more from that.
Right, you got Marchand on a different line too, and that's the way it's been. They got Marchand on one line, and you got Pastrnak on the other. I'm looking at Marchand, and I'm like, geez, I don't really see that he's any slower, but I'm kind of watching him, and I'm like, he's not getting any younger. I mean, he's in his late 30s, I think mid to late 30s. So I'm thinking, gee, this guy, he's starting to come down the other side of the mountain in terms of his prime, and that's another guy that you could rely on a lot of goals.
Right. No, absolutely, and It's not been the start of the Marshawn year. Even Paul, when I'm watching him, not as physical, not as chippy, not as that rat kind of style that I'm used to seeing from him. That kind of in the groins and that kind of toughness that he just seems to be out on the perimeter a lot. And I like to see a little bit more spunk and aggressiveness out of him that we've known in the past. And I think that lights the fire under some of these other guys. So I think Montgomery's trying to get that out of him. And right now it's not there. Maybe he's worried about, the role of captainship and what I need to do there and get these other guys, where they need to be. And, I think that he's got to take over a little bit more than what he's been doing.
Yeah, I think you make an interesting point there because he's not the biggest guy in the world, right?
He's
so
not.
he plays that chippy style, and that gives him more room.
Yeah.
And when he's not playing that style, he doesn't get the same kind of room. And then the other thing too, I noticed on the stat sheet, and I know the announcers had commented about this, a great majority of his goals are on the power play. So like on even strength, he's not really giving you a lot of goals.
Well, that depends on what line he's on now. So if you're going to put him, with Zacha, is you going to put him with Pasternak? You're going to put him with Lindholm? I mean, you got to try to find something that, equals what he can do and, gel and work together. And maybe Montgomery's still trying to find that, or it's just not a combination that they like. So they got a lot of work ahead of them.
Yeah, if you put Marchand and Pasternak on the same line, then it's like, okay, what's the other line's going to be now?
Yeah,
that's always been an issue.
So, you saw it last night firsthand, and it's tough for them, but hopefully they get back. They played some good teams: Colorado, Dallas, another good team, Winnipeg playing really well. So they got something down. Philly, that's a different one. I think they should beat Philly at home. They didn't do it. That was kind of surprising to me because Philly's not been on top of their game, and Tortorella's all over the place there as head coach. So I was kind of really surprised by that. But then again, you were there. So, in your series of being at a Bruins game is not very good. But I did see a nice picture of you and your grandson.
Yes.
You guys look perfect together. It was a great picture.
Yeah.
Very nice to see. I hope you enjoyed your family time. That was awesome.
Yeah, we were getting a kick out of the fact that, my grandson is about, 20 months old. So he's talking and chattering up a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're like, let's go Bruins. And he was saying, let's go Bruins. I'm like, boy, start him young, start him young here.
Good.
No Penguins or any other thing. Let's go Bruins.
Yeah, that's fun stuff. That's great right there. Love it. Love it.
That's great stuff. That's great stuff. And by the way, you mentioned Tortorella. Even though the Bruins lost the game, watching him pace back and forth on the bench, that was one of the more enjoyable things because talk about a colorful guy, right?
Well, he's quite classic.
He's colorful,
if you
yeah.
talk to him before, during, or after the game.
Really.
He's something to listen to.
All right. If anything is on your mind in the last few minutes here of our podcast, please give us a call at 774-218-3393. I wanted to circle back to football just for a few minutes here because I'm looking at the Patriots schedule, right? And we went through the schedule at the beginning of the year, win, loss, win, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So now I got to tell you, the Patriots got past, I think it was a pretty, except for Jacksonville and a couple of the other games, obviously you had the 49ers and, Seattle, they almost beat, and, Houston gave them a hard time and the Jets gave them a hard time the first time, but you predicted that they would beat the Jets one of the two times, and that came out. So now you've got Tennessee, which you and I both thought could possibly be a win. Then we have Chicago, which I think I had a win, you had a loss, but certainly a game that the Patriots should be able to compete in. The Rams aren't playing as well as they used to. Miami just got Tua back, and the Patriots almost beat and should have beat Miami the first time. Then you got Indianapolis, which is a 500 team. Then you got Arizona, right? And then you even have the Chargers before the season's over. So I don't know. I see a potential for a lot of wins there. Am I crazy? Is this one win, got me thinking crazy here?
No, the next 6 games are crucial to me. For me, for 5 wins, these next 6 games.
Yeah, five wins for $500.
Okay, so the Titans.
Yeah.
Tennessee at Tennessee.
They got to win that one.
Chicago. So 2 road games at Tennessee, at Chicago. The Rams at home, who have not really performed that well. They're okay. Yeah. They've been up and down, now they lost some receivers, but they're getting them back. So Kupp is back. Nakua's back. That's going to hurt the Patriots there. The Dolphins, Wow. Lost to Arizona with Tua back. Really surprised by that one.
Yeah.
That really kind of shunned me. Indianapolis, Richardson taking a play off. I'm too tired as a quarterback.
Oh, man.
Let me go off to the sideline. He gets benched. Joe Flacco is the quarterback this week. Shocking, but it is what it is. And then out to Arizona. These next 6 games, Paul, I am dying for 3-3. I am dying for 3-3. Please give me 3-3.
Well, Chris, right? He had
That's what I
$500. He had $500. They had won fair and square on some other bets before. And at the
Did
beginning of the
1,000.
season, he did the Jeopardy James. He took the $500. He pushed it all in and said the Patriots would win at least 5 games. So you're looking at $1,000. 5 wins for $500, right?
I need 3 in the next 6.
Well, all right. So let's see. We got 2 wins so far, right? Okay,
Yep.
we get 2 wins so far, right? So I'm thinking, okay, let's see. Tennessee, that could be number 3. And then
Very winnable. Very
Chicago, that could be number 4.
That's,
The Rams,
that one's a little tougher because it's in Chicago.
The Rams could be number 5. Then Miami could be number 6. Then Indianapolis is number 7. Then Arizona is number 8. And then, maybe we're looking at a playoff spot here.
Now you're out of your mind. But so that's not going to happen. You're not going to go on that big winning streak. That's not.
Come on now, you get Drake May in there.
That's
Got a couple of guys that can catch a damn ball. How many balls did those receivers drop?
Okay, so here's something that cracks me up, and I don't know if you saw this. This was on Sports Channel. Is it Ted Johnson? Not Ted Johnson. I'm trying to think of who's the guy there, the linebacker that talks about the X's and O's.
Yeah, I know you're talking about Ted Johnson, wasn't it?
Is it Ted Johnson?
Yeah.
Ted Johnson the other day is actually showing on TV how to catch a football. He's saying the Patriots receivers. Look, watch me, Paul. Receivers are catching balls like this when they should be catching balls with their hands.
Right.
This is a linebacker telling receivers how to catch a ball. It was incredible. I'm going, don't these receivers know how to catch a ball? Would you draft a guy who don't know how to catch a ball? I agree they were wrong in what they're doing, but this is a linebacker telling receivers how to catch a ball. It was incredible to watch, but he's an X's and O guy, so that's why he was doing what he was doing. So I hope they can start catching, and whether it's May or Brissett, and win 3 games in the next 6 weeks. That's what I'm looking for.
There are a couple of times there, even when May was in there, you heard the color guy that was working that game. It was like,
by the way, those color guys, that was the C team.
Yeah.
The C team.
Yeah, we don't get the A team. Yeah, we don't get the A team.
Not the B team, the C team.
Adam
Cowboys. And some other guy I never even heard of.
No, the Cowboys get the A team, but what good?
Well, that doesn't matter. It's like the Patriots are getting the C team commentators now.
I know.
What's going on here?
Yeah, I know. But he was, I think it wasn't Matt Millen, was it? Was it Matt Millen?
No, it was Adam Archuleta and some other guy I never even heard of. I can't even tell you the other guy's name. And you're sitting there right now going, who the heck is Adam Archuleta?
Yeah, so then the color guy was like, hey, I just got to tell like it is here. They can't keep dropping these balls here. Somebody's going to catch the ball. And I was thinking the same thing. And you and I would text them back and forth, catch the damn ball. And Ryan from Rochester was like, catch the damn ball. And I was like, catch the damn ball. Come on. And I tell you, Drake May, he put a couple of balls right on the numbers. And even Brissett did too. And they dropped the ball. And by the way, I know Butch was saying before when I said, hey, could this guy be the real deal? Butch very correctly said, well, it's too early. But a couple of things I like about May, and I hadn't really seen him, before. And now you're watching him, I like the way he feels the pressure in the pocket. You know what I mean? He kind of drops back and he's looking around and he doesn't look like he's getting agitated. He doesn't look like he hasn't got any kind of fear. And then he can just take that step to one side, and that little, Mac Jones couldn't do that. Mac Jones couldn't feel the pressure. I mean, Zappy did it better than Mac Jones, So there are some things that I like what I see so far. And again, it's very early, so on and so forth. But I kind of like what I see.
Compared to Brissett, I agree with you. I like him better in the pocket.
How about compared to Mac Jones?
He looks a little bit more composed. He looks a little bit more agile. He looks a little bit more confident, not afraid to step up. And as the play-by-play, Spiro Ditas, I think that's the guy's name.
Oh, yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Spiro Adam Archuleta, Spiro Ditas,
yeah.
The C team. And he's coming up and saying, look how he stepped up into the pocket. Yeah, I think he looks more confident. Again, if he's ready to go with the concussion protocol, he definitely should be back in there. I hope he's back in there because I need 3 wins. So I hope he gets in the next 6 games. But yeah, I hope he's back in there. So I hope that after this week, if they win, they go to Chicago. I hope the Bears are still reeling from that stupid Hail Mary that they gave up at the end of the Washington game.
No.
Really is dumb as
I'm glad you brought that up because I was just about to bring it up.
You want the paper to come
out.
Oh,
I got the paper.
Of course you do.
No, wait.
Yeah.
No. So here's the thing, right? So I've become a fan. I've become a fan of Jaden Daniels. I think he's exciting. I think he's fun to watch. I think he's doing a good job so far. So I put the game on, right? And I'm like, all right, he's got to just barely, like, he throws the ball out of bounds, gets to the 50-yard line. So I'm thinking, all right, if there's one guy that's going to throw the Hail Mary and kind of like the moon and the stars are lining up for this guy, this is going to be the guy. So what does he do? He drops back, he rolls left, he throws the bomb, the ball bounces off somebody, and there's somebody behind the pack, which it's like a golden rule, a big sin to have one guy by himself, and the ball bounces into his hands, and my wife was sitting there and I went, oh my God, the ball wait till I call Chris on this one.
Whoa. Forget about you. Listen, you didn't even talk to your wife. You were texting me as fast as you could.
Yeah, no, isn't it true that there were some guys that like the magic kind of goes to them, even whether they deserve it or not? That happens, right?
You got a defensive back on the opposite side looking at the fans.
Yeah,
He's floating on the sidelines saying we just won the game. This clown, number one. Number two, Daniels doesn't even reach the end zone. He's 3 yards short. You bat the ball down. We all know that. They tip it up. It goes backwards, and the guy's standing there, and they catch it. This is totally on the Bears. Now, I can agree with you. Some guys have that little extra, and the stars line up the way you want it. Right now, this entire season, it's all around Jaden Daniels. I agree with you. Not Caleb Williams, not even Marvin Harrison. Everything right now is lined up around Jaden Daniels.
Now, is he that good, do you think? Do you think he's that good? Or do you think he's been lucky?
I think he'll be the rookie of the year. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
I think again, he could throw a little bit more. He's doing a lot of running. I'm not for the running quarterback. I think they're going to get killed. Richardson's one who's been injured. Mahomes has done it.
Leaving May, Drake May.
A lot of these guys, you've got to be careful in the NFL today. So even Daniels, he had the rib injury. You've got to be careful with these guys and get them back. But right now, the stars are aligned around him. I agree with you. He's done a great job. He's rookie of the year right now. There's no doubt about it. And it's working in his favor. Now, can that continue over? It's possible. It's given them an advantage. It's given the Commanders hope. And that's all you ask for. Hope. They've got it in their clubhouse.
And how about Aaron Rodgers throwing a Hail Mary? That was kind of like, what the heck? He threw another Hail Mary? My goodness, what the heck happened there?
Well, listen, I mean, there are times you're just going to throw it, and sometimes it works for people. Rodgers has been known to be an outstanding. But what I like about Aaron is, he takes his time, he waits. He's got a great ball. He throws it as high as he can. He always makes the end zone. And it's just a 50-50 ball, and you just see what happens. So he knows how to do it. It plays out to his favor, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But for him, you get a little bit more of the breaks, and it's been going his way. So he's very talented, and I expect him to get some of those lucky bounces. And do I expect it from a first-year quarterback like Daniels? No, but some of the things have gone his way, and that break happened against Chicago, and outstanding for the Commanders, who are trying to say, hey, we're forced to reckon with in NFC East.
All right, we'd like to thank Scotty's Pub, 202 Pleasant Street in Fall River, citywide glass with 3 locations in Dartmouth, Fall River, and Taunton. Lakeville Athletic Club, 325 Bedford Street in Lakeville, where you can play tennis, pickleball, and more. And a good friend, attorney John B. Seed, attorney at law, 156 8th Street in the city of New Bedford. And you can check out his website at johnseedlaw.com. I'd like to thank Nelson from Fall River, Butch from Acushnet, Ben from Dartmouth, and Ryan from Rochester with the usual good calls here on Santos on Sports. Okay, so let's see what happens with the World Series. Let's see if the Patriots can get Chris one step closer to the bet. And I'm feeling a little better now. I'm feeling a little better about the 5 wins.
Well, I'm looking forward to this week with Tennessee, see how that goes. Celtics, big game tonight against the Pacers.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see how they do on the road against a playoff team who they played against last year, who gave them a tough battle. So I want to see how that goes. A shout out to my Nomandan Navigators who won the middle school boys soccer championship.
Oh, congratulations.
Why I got my Portugal hat on. So I had to go to that game this evening. It was an outstanding win for them over a very gutsy Keith middle school, the Wildcats from Keith. So a good win for them. My Nomandan Navigator ladies lost to Ford Middle School in the finals. Good job to them. So a lot of fun with my soccer, but I'm looking forward, obviously, to Celtics, Bruins, World Series, and don't forget the Patriots looking for their 3rd win on Sunday.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for looking in and for calling. For Chris Santos, I am Paul Santos of Santos on Sports. Thank you very much again, and we'll talk to you again real soon.